Greetings, mortals. Welcome to Neshae Reads SCP-2647, Premium. This is the real high-quality stuff.
Object Class Euclid, Penning-Keter. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-2647 is impossible to fully contain, but efforts should be particularly focused on blocking online advertisements and encouraging the adoption of digital media over that of newspapers and phone books. All analog instances of SCP-2647-A are to be reported and forcibly redacted as inconspicuously as possible. All discovered SCP-2647-B instances are to be maintained in isolation, withheld with non-lethal force, if necessary, and made to call the provided SCP-2647 number to end their policies. Description: SCP-2647 is a company or entity which publicly goes by the name Omega Life Insurance. Advertisements for the company, designated SCP-2647-A, date back to 1957, first appearing in newspapers and phone books, and later online. 1-800 numbers given by the advertisements invariably differ in each instance, and are not traceable to any addresses. Furthermore, the addresses provided by SCP-2647-A similarly differ, and do not appear to exist in any maps or directories.
Sounds like a large number of scams I've seen.
If any sapient being calls the provided number, an automated voice on the other end will give the options of enacting, changing, or canceling an insurance policy. Policies range from a price of $1,000 to $3,000 per year, depending on the number of individuals covered, though all include an additional charge simply labeled expenses.
That actually sounds pretty normal for insurance.
Once a call has been made or attempted, the advertisement will soon vanish from its location and be replaced with a new, non-anomalous advertisement. However, the number can be retained if written down beforehand, and will still allow for the user to contact SCP-2647. Should the option of enacting a policy be chosen and purchased, said individual and anyone he or she chooses to include, typically the individual immediate family, will become an instance of SCP-2647-B. SCP-2647-B possess and exert the following anomalous attributes: a lack of biological aging beyond 30 years old. Instances above the age of 30 who enact a policy will age in reverse over the specific amount of time between their current age and 30.
Can I have this number, please?
People who regularly interact with SCP-2647-B will suffer mild to severe premature aging in proportion to the average amount of time spent interacting with SCP-2647-B.
That might be a deal breaker. On the other hand, I am an introvert. It would give me an excuse to hermit, and anyone who messes with me will get swift karmatic retribution. Still real tempting.
Immunity to life-threatening diseases, both infectious and non-infectious.
That would be dang useful right now, actually.
If an instance has such a disease at the time the policy is enacted, its symptoms will rapidly vanish within 3 days at most.
Sign me up. Does that include depression, anxiety, and OCD?
Otherwise healthy individuals who regularly interact with SCP-2647-B will occasionally suffer fatal diseases associated with the age, genetics, or health practices of SCP-2647-B.
Oh, stop tempting me.
Probability-defying luck in avoiding or surviving potentially fatal events, such as vehicular crashes, shootouts, and similar occurrences. In all cases, certain people who regularly interact with SCP-2647-B instances will experience fatal accidents at roughly the same time as those avoided or survived by SCP-2647-B. SCP-2647 will occasionally mail SCP-2647-B false documents such as new social security numbers, birth and marriage certificates, and the like for public use. This occasionally results in SCP-2647-B undergoing name changes.
Such documentation is necessary when you're immortal. If you're 93 and look 30 and you present an ID that says you're 93 when trying to buy drinks, people are going to assume it's fake and you will have to be sober. A fake ID would become necessary.
Ending a policy will result in the dramatic, and often fatal, cancellation of the anomalous effects listed above.
Someone out there getting hit by 3 cars, a tornado, and diabetes at the same time. That's one heck of a way to go.
As of the time of writing, 143 separate instances of SCP-2647-B have been apprehended by the Foundation. Addendum 2647-1. Attempts at isolating SCP-2647-B instances has resulted in their anomalous properties being affected on any available security personnel in disproportionate levels, regardless of interaction. All instances must be forced to cancel their policies by necessity.
I guess if you suddenly get hit by a train, stabbed, and the common cold at the same time, you know that's what happened.
Case Log SCP-2647-Alpha. Forward. All of the following are recent examples of SCP-2647-B who were forced to cancel their policies with retained phone numbers from SCP-2647-A. Compliance was obtained in all cases via shock collar, and all surviving instances were administered amnestics.
Wait, what?
Date, March 25, 2005. Subject: Morton Reginald, policyholder since 1972, enacted at age 35. Reginald had since married and divorced twice, with 2 children from each marriage. None of his resulting family were covered by SCP-2647. Results: upon ending the call, Reginald collapsed and went into a 15-minute coma. While unconscious, Reginald's skin became wrinkled and liver spotted, most of his hair fell out, and his heart briefly stopped, requiring the assistance of a defibrillator. Notes: afterward, a barmaid that Reginald was known to romance recovered from liver cancer, and Reginald's second wife survived a mugging. Date, May 8, 2005. Subject: Madeline Webb, policyholder since 1958, enacted at age 62. Webb was unmarried throughout the entirety of her time as an SCP-2647-B instance, and living under an assumed name provided by SCP-2647 to hide her age from others. Results: Webb shrieked before dropping the phone and collapsed to the floor instantly. Over the course of the next 2 minutes, Webb convulsed as her teeth fell out, her hair turned from blonde to gray to white, and her skin became increasingly thinner. Eventually, Webb gasped, "Help," before finally dying. Forensic testing revealed that she had died of a heart attack at the biological age of 87, but had been dead for 22 years. Notes: Webb lawyer, the 5th in her lifetime, missed a flight which later crashed, sparing no survivors. Date, October 15, 2005. Subject: Dominic and Heather Maxwell, family policyholders since 1976, enacted at respective ages of 50 and 47. The Maxwells had 2 adolescent children, Robert and Janice, respectively aged 17 and 14 at the time the policy was enacted. Results: Heather Maxwell went comatose and aged by 29 years. Dominic Maxwell underwent a similar process but suddenly died midway through when an overhead ventilation shaft inexplicably loaded with concrete crashed through the ceiling on top of him, killing him instantly. Later investigation revealed that Maxwell had been staying at a hotel in 1998, which caught fire, only for Maxwell to avoid death via the discovery of a gas mask and rope ladder under the bed in his room.
Holy.
Both of the Maxwell's children claimed to feel woozy when the policy was ended, but suffered no ill effects. Notes: Heather Maxwell's sister, described by her doctors as hours from death by ovarian cancer, fully recovered after the policy was ended. An elderly friend of Dominic Maxwell later claimed to feel especially rejuvenated, and was described by others as looking and acting decades younger. Date, November 11, 2005. Subject: Robert and Vivian Gomez, policyholders since 1974, enacted at respective ages of 65 and 60. Vincent Gomez, A son was born in 1990. Results: both Gomez's collapsed and aged as in previous cases, but neither survived. Vincent Gomez panicked as he slowly aged in reverse, shrinking first into an infant, then into a fetus, then an embryo, before vanishing entirely.
Jesus Christ.
Notes: the next-door neighbors of the Gomezes, a couple who were unable to conceive over the past 7 years of their marriage, had twins 9 months after the policy was ended.
I hope he was at least reincarnated as one of them. That's messed up.